Hello, welcome back. Aaron Dunn here with the Silmarillion Symphony, and you can pick that up at silmarillionSymphony.bandcamp.com, where you can pick up all the CDs, Fall of Fingolfin, The Fall of Gondolin, and many more. I figure this video will continue in our series about some of the tunes on The Fall of Gondolin, but I will touch on some things on Fall of Fingolfin as well in a short bit. So the next track we're looking at is The Hidden City, fourth track off the album. And this one was kind of interesting for me because of when I wrote all of this, the way I set it up so that the session would be efficient and also cogent narratively is that Wave Escape and Hidden City, they go together. You could actually, in the course of a live performance, you could put them together and they would fit together seamlessly. Mainly because they're in the same key, and also some of the motifs are pretty similar. But let's talk about the story anyway. I can talk technically about the music at any point. The Hidden City, you've gotten through the Way of Escape, which is, again, Tor is continuing his journey out of the rest of Beleriand into the area known as Gondolin, or the areas around it. And so he's passing through the gates, and I'm trying to reference a few different things plot-wise here. Of course, there are multiple different versions of the Fall of Gondolin in the sort of history of Middle-earth things, and then there's the official version, which ends up in the Silmarillion proper, where he comes to the gate and he's greeted by the guards. This is expounded upon in the Unfinished Tales. Where he meets a gentleman, I believe, called Elamachiel, an elf, and then, of course, he runs into Ecthelion by the end of it. But he runs into the guards at the gates. And as we move through, this is sort of, the idea in the music is to sort of depict a sort of a, much as in The Way of Escape, sort of this mystical path that you're taking, and now you're starting to actually see the city proper, and you're starting to see sort of the end of the seven gates, and then you're starting to get this vision of Tor walking through the city with the armed guards and stuff like that, and he's looking around and going, whoa, so this is what I'm looking for, or this is what the elves really live like, because his previous experience with the elves was not quite like this. He was walking around with Veronwe prior to this, and Veronwe would have told him some of these things. He would have described some of these things that are the way the city might look. And of course, we don't have this on screen, but we do have it in paintings and in sketches done by many different artists. But I think about Naismith, and I believe John Howe's done some stuff on this as well. And there's one other that I'm missing, but there are a few really seminal pictures of what's going through, what you're seeing, and what you're sort of hearing me reference in the entire thing. So Tor's walking through the city, of course, but he's going under the escort of armed guards, which is why the piece itself has a fairly militant kind of a movement to it, which it's very straight. There's triplets and so forth, but it's very much on the beat, and it's very direct. And so it's meant to be sort of a big sounding thing, an intimidating sounding kind of a thing, like you're going into this area that's like, wow, it's this big, glorious city that you're coming into that's got obviously some history. The walls are enormous. Parts of it, it's an amazing fortress, and it's something like you would have never seen it before. So that's, practically speaking, what I'm trying to get a hold of. And then, of course, it goes to its ending, where it sort of settles in, and then what I'm referencing in the plot is that Tor's finally being brought before Turgon, and then they're all going to talk. And of course, you have this sort of juxtaposition of what's going on in here. You have this massive city that Tor just came on, and Tor's coming with this massive mission, right? And so those two things are coming together, and I didn't get a chance to really write something for Tor and Turgon talking. which part of that is writing under dialogue can be tricky, as I know from films. But also, it takes a lot to get the nuance of that without some words going on over top of it. So I've held off on doing that, and I may get a chance to do that in the future, what that situation might look like. It'd be a very quiet kind of a thing, and it didn't really suit for what we were trying to accomplish in this particular album. But you have this juxtaposition of Tour's massive destiny and then going into Turgon's court. And so in a sense, the way I would handle this in a filmmaking sense is I would probably just let the guys talk and have a very, very sparse underscore going on underneath it. But that is definitely a conversation for another day. So thank you very much for tuning in. Again, check out silmarillionSymphony.bandcamp.com, where you can pick up all of my albums. Again, Fall of Gondolin's the newest one, Fall of Fingolfin. Hey, Huon, how you doing, buddy? You want to sit down? You joining the video? Okay, that's fine. All right, just 1 minute. Thanks, buddy. All right, go on. Where you can pick up all the stuff. Also, the vinyl is out. I still have vinyls left over, so I'd be more than happy to send you out one. If you've been anywhere east of Colorado in the last week, you'll understand that shipping is a little bit of a trip right now, just because of the storms and all that. So if it takes a little longer to get to you, that's probably why. But certainly wishing everybody a safe and prosperous new year. Thank you very much for tuning in.